Hi guys, welcome to the next video of the RESTful tutorial series. In this video we will see how to return response object from our resource method. In our previous video we saw how to return plain objects or user defined objects from the resource class. Like here we are returning string object. Now, the benefit of returning object of this response class is that we can wrap the response body to it and set some HTTP response parameters as well, which we couldn't do if we return plain objects. The response class which we'll be using here is actually an abstract class, but it exposes few static methods which we can use to set the HTTP response status. Like it has one OK method which sets the HTTP response to OK 200. Now this method returns response builder object. Now again, this response builder class is an abstract class. So actually an object of concrete class response builder IMPL, which subclasses the response builder class, is returned. So now we can call methods on this response builder object to do several things. We can call its entity method to set the response body. We can call its cache control method to set some cache control directives. We can call its cookie method to add some cookies. We can call its header method to add some header parameters. Now let's test this entity method here. Now even this entity method returns response builder object, but our method send response is expected to return a response object. So to return a response object, we need to call the build method of the response builder object. So it should be something like this. Now we already saw that the response class is an abstract class, so actually a concrete object of response IMPL class will be returned, and this response IMPL class extends the response abstract class, so we can return this now. So this is the code to return response object, setting the HTTP status 200 and setting some text to the response body. Now let's build this project. Let's run this. Okay, so we got that some text which was sent by our resource method. We got the HTTP status as 200. So we got the body and the HTTP status both using the response object. So we saw how to send a plain text as a response. Now let's see how we can send a file from our web service method using this response class. For this, let's create one file object. Let's choose this PDF file. Now here, instead of returning this plain text, we'll return this file object. Now if we just return file object like this, then what will happen in some browsers, the file will be embedded in the browser window. So in order to show the dialog box where the user can open or save the file, we need to set the content disposition header parameter by calling the header method. Its value should be attachment. And we can give our file name which we want to show in the browser's window. Okay, so this content disposition with disposition type as attachment, it actually tells the browser to show the dialog box to the user with the file name as this one here. Now let's build the project. Let's run it. Run it in a fresh window. Okay, so now we can see that the name which we gave in the code, the xslt.pdf, is coming here in the dialog box. Let's open this. Okay, so the file is sent properly. Now let's see the firebug. Here you can see the content disposition. The disposition type as attachment, file name is xslt.pdf, whatever we provided in the code. So this actually forces the browser to open the file as attachment and provide the dialog box to the user to either open or save the file. Now there is one more important thing which we need to check, and that is about the generic entity class. Now, when a common Java type or JAX-B object is returned from our resource method, the runtime is able to find its type. But when JAX-RX Response class is used to wrap the object, then it's difficult to find out the type of the wrapped entity. To ensure that the runtime is provided with the type information, the entity can be wrapped in generic entity class before being added to the response object. Now the generic entity class has a protected constructor, so we can't instantiate it directly. We need to subclass this generic entity class, and then while instantiating the subclass we need to pass our entity object to it. And we generally do this by using anonymous class. Let's see how to do that. Let's have one list of string. So here we are creating subclass of generic entity of list of string, and while creating the instance of this class we are passing the entity object to it, the string list. So now we'll use this generic entity object in the entity method. So this is the way we need to wrap up our entity object to the generic entity class and then pass that generic entity object to this entity method. So this is a better way to call the method and pass the entity object to help runtime environment to find the type of the entity being passed. So this is it for this video. We'll see some more stuff of RESTful web service in the next video, so keep watching.